Join Desi Brown as he gives you inside access to industry leaders who are making it happen in entertainment, film, music, sports, and politics. It's the YouKnowDessie Show.
How you been, my brother?
I can't complain, my guy. I can't complain. How about yourself?
Man, I'm blessed. Blessed and highly favored.
Already.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for being on the YouKnowDessie Show. But yeah, I definitely admire you and your work. You've been making a lot of things happen. Been in the news quite a bit lately. Have been seeing a lot of great content from you as well. So I want to go ahead and jump right in. So
let's do it.
Yeah. So for those who may not know who you are and what it is that you do, please tell them.
Craig J. Lewis, man. I'm a founder and CEO of a technology startup. What we do is we help businesses and platforms pay independent contractors, freelancers, gig workers. Like the simple way to think about it is like a payroll company, right? Powered by technology. Yeah. And we only help people pay 1099 workers, right? That could look like a lot. Photographers, creatives, gig delivery workers, whatever it may be. We built technology for the businesses that provide the work to those people.
Dope. So tell us about your background, because I know you're from Dallas, correct?
Yeah. So I was born on the east side of McKinney, Texas, right before McKinney was cool and one of the fastest growing cities in America. I was born on the east side, country boy. Okay. And then raised in North.
Now you can use that for people outside of Texas, but
yeah.
So Dallas, but
yeah, for real. So, but then I was raised in North Dallas and then Garland. So I grew up on Skillman, Ardelia. Then I went to school in so I went to White Rock Elementary, North Lake Elementary. Then I went to school in Garland. I graduated from North Garland High School.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So I'm a Garland, Texas guy through and through. For any of your Dallas, audience that want to talk that talk and get real specific about it, as a former hooper myself, I used to bust all their heads. So whether we talking Carter, Skyline, Kingston, BA, wherever, they all got that work. So and they can come on here and we can talk about it. So I'm a former hooper, man. So I played college ball. So I led DMW, the state scoring and rebounders in 2000. Went on to play college basketball at University of Nevada, Reno. Ended up graduating from Morehead State, where I played in the OVC. I played overseas for a hot second, Germany, Portugal. Got into the entrepreneurship thing. And then my first business really just bombed. And that's a whole story in itself. And then I ended up getting a job, and I got on the sales side. I was selling payroll technology at a company called ADP, Automatic Data Processing, the largest payroll company in the world. Absolutely. And that's what kind of set me on this path when I started selling technology. And then I was like, man, I should sell my own, right? And so then we figured out how to put a team together and start building it.
That's really dope, man. And going all the way back, shout out to McKinney. I'm originally from Greenville, so Greenville, okay. McKinney, Garland.
Look. So we got to McKinney from Sulphur Spring, Commerce, Greenville. Yeah. Like my great grandpeople is all in Commerce, Klondike, Sulphur Springs, all that. So and then we moved up to McKinney, and then we moved up to so that type of deal.
Oh yeah. Well, look, we got offline. We got to talk about all of that.
Yeah, them East Texas hot links out there in Greenville too. We can definitely talk about that.
Get them. First place you can get them. Look, you official then. 903, checking in.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man. So I think it's dope what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And talking about like it's always important. Exposure is a big thing for me, right? Yeah. And so I like the fact that you had hoop dreams and you did, obtain a certain level of success, but overall, like you're really known in the tech space. And so would you have ever thought that would be your path?
Bruh, we was, now the world I play in, everybody that's, in this game, they got these stories about how their dad brought home a Commodore 64. They broke down their video games and rebuilt. I don't have that story. I didn't own a laptop or a computer till I was like mid to late 20s. You feel me? Like I was non-technical. I just used to hoop. And I never in a million, you know, I've always been a talker, but I never in a million years could have put this play together, right? It's just been, to your point, exposure. Went off to college, saw some things, but it was like when I really got into the business world, I just started connecting dots. And what I always have done is seen trends. I've always seen holes and opportunities. And I've just been putting the dots, connected dots, man. And so, yeah, no, I didn't have the, you know, business acumen or, you know, entrepreneurs in my family or the technology people. No, I just put it together.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that as well. That's usually what I say. My background is definitely marketing and event activations, and I also worked in radio, working for Tom Joyner as well. But I feel like my God's given gift is to be a connector and to just, you know, put plays together. Oh, you know, this person over here, let me connect you with this person, and you know, and things work out that way. I feel like in the Black community, we need to do more of that. So oftentimes we want to just keep things for ourselves, or we go and try to start a business on our own and act like we don't need anybody else. You know what I'm saying? When you say, okay, maybe I don't know everything about technology, so let me get with some people that do know something about technology, as opposed to just trying to only figure it out yourself and only, you know, work like that.
Yeah, I think the thing to think about there is, you know, if you own 100% of nothing, right, versus some percent of something, I think the some percent of something is the angle. And for me, I've always wanted to do it big, but what I've learned is, now that I'm in this tech and this entrepreneur and venture capital game, what that really means, not you know what I used to think it meant. And so if you want to do it big, it takes people. It takes the right team, externally, internally. You can't do it big by yourself. It don't work.
That's very true. It's even funny that you mentioned the 100% of you know, 100% of nothing is nothing. That's something that I always live by, even when doing events or parties or whatever. You know, it's like, okay, I can go over here and try to do this event by myself. Oh, I'm gonna make all the money. But if nobody comes, you know what I'm saying? Then
what did you make?
What did you really make? But if you can partner up with a few people and, you know, whether it's build a company, do an event, you know, whatever it is, and we all have our strengths and weaknesses, and so it's always important to get with people that kind of, you know, cover up whatever your weaknesses may be.
For sure. I over-index, and listen, man, one of the things about it, you know, to be an entrepreneur, you got to have a lot of confidence. You got to be really certain, but you also got to have a lot of humility, man. And the sooner people can, like for me, once I realized, like, oh, I need to delegate more. Like I need to trust more people to do more things. That's when the world kind of opened up for you, boy, because it was like, you know, it's your baby and you want full control, and you know, you got some insecurities about what you know and what you don't know. Man, once I started telling people I don't know, but I can hire somebody that do, you know, that's when things started to, like, I don't need to know it all. I just need to set the tone, set the vision, and be able to find people that can do the job well. And so that's an important thing, man, being able to delegate and trust people with your baby and your vision. Matter of fact, it really ain't your vision until you get people to, you know, buy into it.
Right. Yeah. And talk about bringing the team together. And when did you officially start GigWage?
Yeah, so that's funny you say that, man, because as a Black entrepreneur, we're not represented highly in tech. And because of that, we don't have these technology networks. So it's difficult sometimes. You know, I'm 30, I'll be 39 this month. Okay. Some of the younger generation, they got some access now to some technical talent, but I had to build it from scratch. And so I made a lot of mistakes off the rip, like tried to outsource offshore, overseas in India, then boom, tried to outsource here in the States while I was trying to find somebody full time. I hired a whole team of people. They was all wrong. You know, wasted a bunch of money, like literally millions of dollars I wasted on, you know, the wrong team. Yeah. And then what I realized though was that was my education. That was my learning. Mm-hmm. And we were trying to do something different originally. And then we pivoted to the GigWage model in late 2016, early 2017. Okay. I brought in a new team, and I was very cognizant of the fact that I don't want to hire a wrong team again. And so I knew what I was looking for. And so the core team that is GigWage today came together about 2017. And so I've been fortunate. You know, I got some heavy hitters and some world-class team members that have gotten us to this point.
Yeah. And that's another key point, saying pivoted. You know, right now during the pandemic and social unrest and everything like that, people are forced to pivot and do things a different way. And I feel like if you're able to adapt to change very well, then overall you're going to be okay, because, you know, I always say hustlers go figure it out no matter what. You know, whether that's, okay, I can't go out and do marketing a certain way like I used to, or, you know, things are slowing down. And that's basically how this show started, was because, okay, I have all these contacts, I got this knowledge, I have access to people that are doing great things, such as yourself. Like, I want to spotlight them and just connect the dots, basically. So, it's great that you pivoted that way. And I also wanted to get into talking about a raise, because, you know, most people don't understand that, especially in our communities. Like, we typically find the investors or the people who want to put some money into something, and they looking at 100%. Like, if they give you $1,000, they want to get $2,000 back. And that's not really the way that business goes. Yeah. In the real world.
Yeah. I looked at all of that. So I tried it all. And that definitely ain't the way you want to go in this game. So the thing is, every business is different. And once you start to realize that, just like every city is different, I'm real big on geographies. Yeah. If you start to pay attention to, okay, where are you located? Where are you building your business? And I know all businesses are online and global, but where's your personal body at every day? Yeah. And then what type of business are you building? Those two things can help you determine the type of capital you need to raise. So if you're building a technology business and you're headquartered in Silicon Valley, that's going to be venture capital. Yeah. If you're, in Fort Worth and you're trying to buy some land and drill for oil, that might look like private equity. Yeah. If you got a flower shop and you're in Addison, that might be a small business loan, right? And so there's all different types of capital. Where people make the mistake is they think it's all the same and somebody should just give me some money, and they don't take the time to understand how money circulates in their geography and then how money moves in the particular industry that they're entering. Yeah. So for me personally, I kind of cut my teeth in the technology space. The vast majority of technology over the last 30 years has been powered by venture capital. So I knew that I was going to be playing in a venture capital raising space. Yeah. That's got its own tone, its own energy, its own jargon, so I had to go learn all of that. Yeah. Right. And so what I advise entrepreneurs to do is to don't just say you want to raise venture capital, or you might need a small business loan, or you might need your uncle to just shoot you. Woo, woo, woo. Like, everything looks different, but we've got to be more intentional. We've got to be more specific and more educated about the type of capital we need to fund our businesses. And then the other thing is, the best investor you can get is a customer. Yeah. like a paying customer. People don't want to. It's like the same work you're gonna do to go raise the money. Yeah. Is the same work it's gonna take to sell the customer, and that money gonna keep coming, right? So, the fundraising game. And then listen, some businesses don't need to raise any money. Yeah, because of that. What type of business it is. Because look, in my game, if somebody gives me $1, I got to put that dollar to work. It's got to pay for my team and our expenses and our overhead, our OpEx, right? Our operating expenses. Then it's got to make a profit. And then that's got to be generated enough to continue to do that and sustain that and grow the business. And then that dollar has to then pay the investors back. And the game I play, they want 10x, 20x, 50x, 100x. Right. But they're willing to wait 10 years. Yeah. See, but you got to know the game. And then where do they get their money from? Because the reason they want that 100x, because they got to get that back to their LPs, they limited partners, right? So you got to really learn the game when you start talking about taking other people's money. Make no mistake about it. If you're in the right business in the right area, you should But you can't take it light, man. And like you say, you mess with the D boys or whatever, that might look a little different. And listen, I done talked to a couple of them in my early days. I was like, hey, you getting this tech game? But all capital looks different, right? It's not all equal.
Right. And then also talk about, the changes once you, do a fund, and how now you can't just move the same way. When it's just your company, you can make decisions and just kind of make them, whether that's based on your research or your gut or whatever you want to do. But once you start getting money from other people, and sometimes that kind of changes the way you can spend that money and use the money and everything like that as well.
Absolutely. So like for us in the venture capital space, typically once you get the institutional money, right? Like institutions, not individuals giving you money, but like institutional money, that typically means we're going to give you some money. And with that money, we get rights, we get, voting capabilities, we probably get a board seat, we get to negotiate what we help you decide and how and when we help you. They become a partner, right? It's a capital partner. And so what people don't realize is that's the other thing. And you got to now start to navigate influence and control, and, it gets real legal, right? It ain't just like financial. You got to look at what those finances mean. And then like I said, now you got to navigate, whereas I used to be able to be like, oh, I'm going to give an employee a raise. I like it. Now we've got a compensation committee, and budgets have to be approved, and how we spend, we've got fiduciary responsibility to our board, and that board has fiduciary responsibility to their LPs and for the company. And then there's governance, and, so you got to do a lot, man. You got to start to get all your ducks in a row. All your paperwork got to be buttoned up, your HR, your employee on board. Like it gets real fast. And so some people don't want that, and I would advise those people not to take investment, right? But people just like, oh, I want somebody to give me some money.
Right.
No. That comes with a different level of pressure and expectation and work.
Yeah. And recently you posted about the importance of work and, and the different, the different steps. You I forget exactly what you said, but everything was like, okay, when it's time to raise the money, I got to work. When you get the money, you still got to work. So at the end of the day, if you don't want to work, then entrepreneurship isn't for you. If you don't want to work.
The joke is you leave a 40-hour-a-week job to become an entrepreneur and work 80 hours a week. Right? People think they work, leaving the entrepreneur sweet. It ain't sweet. Listen, it ain't sweet, bro. It's early mornings, it's late nights, it's ups, it's downs. I always talk about, man, we every day I feel like some point in the day I feel like it's billions, and then some days I feel like it's a bust. And you can hit that roller coaster, but no matter if I feel like it's a bust or billions, I know that work has been true to me. And if I work, things gonna work out, right? So, and what I had said in that post was, no matter if I was in a moment of scarcity where I didn't have a lot, I knew I needed to work. And in moments of scale and success, I need to work a lot, right? And so no matter what the scenario or the circumstance, the work is what's consistent.
Yeah, and we're tight and work with Jay. Jay shoots a lot of content for me as well. Jay Oates.
Yeah. Shout out to Jay Oates, man. He do amazing work.
Yeah, we just shot we're working on a teachable type course thing, and so we shot, I believe, on Tuesday, and I think he said he was just shooting with you either Sunday or Monday or something like that.
Jay, my guy, man. That's my guy.
Yeah, our wives are tight with each other. So
that's what's up.
Yeah. So and then talk about because you did a traditional raise. So now I've been seeing companies like Start Engine really blow up and things like that, and Republic. I had Doug Dixon on my show a while back, and then I also had Pierre with Fleeting from on my show as well. So talk about the different ways that you can, whether the traditional or Start Engine or things like that.
Yeah. So in the venture capital space, the way I raise money, we ain't had access to that kind of capital for a while.
Yeah.
And what's been cool about the platforms that you're mentioning are now we got access to raise venture type capital, but from our networks.
Mm-hmm.
And people like Dawn are amazing because she has, great social following, large audience of people that have seen her and supported her journey along the way. And then, with, platforms like Start Engine, platforms like Republic and others out there, now she can give them access to invest in her company the same way a traditional venture capitalist would. Mm-hmm. And what's blocked people from doing that in the past is they've had this, you had to have like a certain liquidity, certain net worth, et cetera, to be able to legally invest in companies. So, you can raise traditional venture capital from individuals or
mm-hmm.
Now you've got these crowdfunding platforms where you can put your company up on a crowdfunding platform and basically market the opportunity for the general public to invest in your organization. And that's really dope because that opens up a lot of opportunity for a lot of people, especially where we've traditionally been locked out. Now, listen, I'm bullheaded and I'm a dog with it. So I was going to go get the money they was, been locking us out from. And I was real intentional about that. Yeah. But I think it is awesome that we kind of democratize access to being able to raise venture capital for technology companies and leverage our networks to do that. But me personally, I wanted to go get their money.
Gotcha. And then I don't want to keep talking about the funding too much. So this will be my last question here. But I saw recently that they announced the 7.5, but previously you had already had a different raise. So was that your second raise or your third raise? And how did each one go? Because I think it's at 11 total, correct?
Yeah. So publicly, what you see out there is about 11 million that we've raised for the company. Prior to what was announced publicly, we had raised 3.3 million. And that that was stretched across years. That wasn't like somebody gave me $3.3 million and was like, go get that. Yeah, that was nickel and dime that thing. I put it together. You feel me?
Yeah.
But then we did announce this 7.5 million all at once. So that brings our publicly announced amount to $11 million invested into GigWage to go out and hire, create jobs, better serve our customers, acquire more customers, and hopefully have impact on a multi-trillion-dollar industry. But about 11 million with this company.
And then what kind of companies do you partner with? And the reason I'm asking, I used to work for the Creative Group, a part of Robert Half, and now I'm actually a part of Locomotives. I don't know if you know Lincoln Stevens.
Yeah, I know Lincoln.
Yeah, so I'm part of his company currently. And so talk about the companies that you partner with and the reason I'm asking, I seem like these staffing firms, it would make sense to partner with your company.
Yeah. So we definitely work with some staffing companies. I mean, our mission is to help any business or any platform pay any contractor in the world.
Yeah.
So along the way, we're going to pick it all off, right? Right now, we've got a hyper-focus though around, high volume, but more like we over-index in drivers and delivery. Mm-hmm. So we do we help a lot of people pay a lot of delivery drivers. But we're agnostic, we're horizontal. We help a lot of small businesses pay contractors. All of this gig economy stuff is basically the modern staffing companies. Yes. That's all it really is, powered by technology.
Right.
So right now we're working with like marketplaces, and I like to say, if I can push a button and somebody come do something for me, GigWage should probably be paying to somebody that's doing something, right? So that's where we're focused. We help a lot of small and medium-sized businesses, but again, across all industries. But staffing is a great industry for us. It's not like over time we'll probably dominate the staffing industry, but it's not like a core focus today.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I always like to find out your perfect customer and things like that. Because I'm naturally a connector, so if I know somebody who knows somebody, or
listen, if you know somebody paying a contractor or a freelancer or a vendor or whatever, send them my way.
Yeah, definitely will, man.
Yeah, whether they got 1 or 100,000, send them my way.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And talk about what's next for you, and because it seems like I've been seeing a lot more press. I know you had some kind of relationship with Forbes because I see you with Forbes a lot. I don't know if you were a contributor or if they just wrote about you all the time, or but it seems like I see you. I see more marketing towards you and seeing you get out a lot more, which is really, really dope in this space because we need more. We need more role models for these kids that are coming up. I'm 39 as well, so I know the importance of exposure and just seeing brothers like us out front doing the work.
Yeah, representation is important, being a Black tech founder. But I also think strategically, if you think about my industry, again, I'm very intentional. The office of the CEO at a technology company is the most marketable position in the world. So if you think about companies like Google, think about companies like Microsoft, think about companies like Tesla, Amazon, the CEOs of these companies. And that's not accidental. There's a machine behind that.
Yeah.
And so, we're strategically understanding that there are some avenues I can get into that are beneficial for the company. So I've always been good with press. Mm-hmm. And what we've done is just kind of leveled up. So, yeah, brand relationships, contributor with Forbes. They cover me. I write for them. We announced this last fundraise in partnership with Bloomberg, Business Insider. And so just really helping people understand the level that we play at.
Yeah.
It's great for company credibility. Customers like it. Investors like it. And it really just brings a certainty to the market that, listen, when I was in the early days, people used to be like, I had early investors be like, oh, you use social media and all this press, you don't need to do that. Just put your head down and go to work. And I would look them in the eye and say, look, if I was a white boy, I could probably walk into the bank and get a loan. Mm-hmm. I said, I got to be on the cover of a magazine to get that kind of love.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? And so it was very strategic for me to know that to have credibility, to get the access that I wanted, I needed them to see me on somebody else's platform that they trusted. So now they wanted to meet me, or when they met me, it was all love. And so we just kind of perfected that a little bit. And every time you see me in the press, we get new customers. We get new investor interest. We get new partners. And so people like, Vanity or the Craig Lewis show, probably what you want. We out here growing a business.
Absolutely, man. And that's very, very important. Control your narrative at the end of the day. Coming from marketing and working with athletes such as Martellus and Michael Bennett, or working with Tom Joyner, or just doing different things like that. I've always been one to push the brands and the other celebrities I may be working with out front. But the last maybe 2 years, I was more intentional about pushing myself out there more. Because at the end of the day, things could change with my relationship with these different brands or companies, but like personal branding is so important.
Yeah.
And people want to be able to put a face with the company, especially when you talk about certain industries. It's like people do business with people that they like. So they like you, then they're more likely to do business with your company, what you have to offer, as opposed to going to maybe a competitor.
Straight up. Nah, that's real talk, man. And so back to what you said about narrative, man, I tell people all the time, your narrative is more important than your number. The market, whether you're talking public or private, moves off speculation.
Yeah.
It moves off perspective. Like, this is the cool thing about having equity and being in the public market specifically. One piece of news can generate billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Just because I read something and I feel good about it and I'm going to make an investment at this price.
Yeah.
And that people don't realize that's true at all levels. The narrative can really dictate and impact a company's growth. How do people feel about it? What do they think about it? What story is being told to them? And the best thing to do is to take control of your narrative. Mm-hmm. Now, when you get good at it, what happens is other people start telling your story for you, and now that credibility goes through the roof. So when Bloomberg says Craig is building a great company to help you pay your contractors.
Yeah.
They ain't saying nothing no different than I've been saying.
Exactly.
But all of a sudden,
man,
yeah.
man, look,
what
man,
Mike Jones told him back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Back then they didn't want me.
now they hot.
But that's the way it should be. Listen, and I don't get mad about that. That's my job, is to get that done. And so you got to control your narrative, scream it to the mountaintops, do the work, so that then other people start to share that narrative, and that's how things get exponential.
Yeah, and it's like just understanding the importance of a cosign, no matter what, and it's even in the Bible. No man is an island. So at the end of the day, nobody came up without some kind of cosign. You did it yourself, but no, everybody got some kind of cosign. And I used to even notice it when I was working for Tom Joyner. I always had my marketing company on the side, right? So even people, if I could be talking about something that it didn't have to do with Tom, but if I'm talking about marketing for this company and then they find out that I work for Tom, it's like, well, if Tom trusts him, then okay, he's gonna do what he said he's gonna do. Understanding that and not being upset about it, just knowing what. And then I also want to commend your team. Your team is super dope, and getting down to controlling the narrative and paying attention to details. Right. I think when I first put the flyer out, it said Craig Lewis, but then they were like, "Hey, can you add the J?" And I said, "You know what? I understand, because I'm sure somewhere, someplace else, it's another Craig Lewis. With the Craig J. Lewis, somebody else may pop up." So
very, very, very specific, very intentional, and we've got a long way to go with my brand, with the company brand, but we're very thoughtful about that.
Yeah, for sure, man. So, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. I really appreciate the conversation today. So tell us if people want to connect with you, tell people where they can find you, your website, if people want to do business with your company, and I'll get you out of here.
Yeah, man. Listen, on social media, I'm Craig J. Lewis everywhere except for Twitter. Somebody trying to sell that to me right now, but on Twitter, I'm Craig Jamal Lewis.
Okay.
But everywhere else, I'm Craig J. Lewis. He wants too much for it right now. I ain't trying to. But then, no, if from a business perspective, it's at GigWage everywhere, and then GigWage.com. That's the best way to get at me and my team. We do real-time chat, bottom right-hand corner of any of our platforms. You'll always be able to get someone in a matter of minutes. Yeah. Whether you're looking to, use our service, whether you're looking to partner, etc. So at Craig J. Lewis everywhere except for Twitter, at Craig Jamal Lewis on Twitter, and then at GigWage and GigWage.com. And y'all holler at me. It's all love. We out here working. Don't call me if you ain't working. All out. You feel me? Workers only.
Facts. Workers only. That's a great hashtag. But man, thank you so much for being on the YouKnowDessie show. I really appreciate you. I look forward to connecting with you more. If you ever need me for anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And
when I listen, I see you moving around. I see how you move. I've seen you for a while. So when COVID clear up, let's link up.
Absolutely, definitely.
All right,
man. You have a great day, man. Keep up the great work.
All righty. Thanks for having me on.
903.